Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So here is a question that someone asked, and let's just answer the question again. Okay, so basically the question was, why reboot Spider-Man if you could just recast the character? Well, I even thought of it, let's just do the interesting take of being the devil's advocate part on this. Let's say that the Sony producers, executive producers, Avi Arad, Laura Zinskin, and I think it was Matthew Tolmack, were all complete dumbass idiots. So if they were complete dumbass idiots and they decided to be like, okay, for Spider-Man 3, we want to get more demands now. We're going to demand so much stuff, and the movie's not going to get harmed by it, right? It's going to still be good. And as soon as they did that, it performed well. But even though it performed well, it was pretty bad. So the question is, because they did this mistake, it was a oops, then why didn't they allow them to do Spider-Man 4 since you kind of did that? You kind of put forced Venom in the movie. You forced a love triangle in the movie, and you forced... I don't know if they really actually forced Harry, but considering there was anywhere that Harry was going to become a bad guy just yet, that means that you force all of them in that movie because, well, hey, we wanted to see that. I think it would have been cool. It's like, okay, and you didn't understand the repercussions. You'll just be like, oh, it made money anyways, and it's like, okay, cool. But note, you guys kind of wrecked the movie, and you kind of wrecked the storyline of Sandman, and many people are straight up hating on you because look what you did to Venom. So with all that said, doesn't that mean that for Spider-Man 4, they should have actually been cool enough to be like, do Spider-Man 4. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to have some light nitpicks. We're going to do the same thing we did for Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 1 because we overstepped in Spider-Man 3. Our bad. Heck, you can take as much time as you want with Spider-Man 4. Did that happen? The correct answer is no. So I have to believe that the real answer is that they wanted Spider-Man 3 to do bad. They knew it was going to get money, and plus I bet it's even the worst thing ever that Avi Arad was thinking, oh, if I show Venom on screen, then people will be hooting and hollering for so much more Venom in the movies, and thus I can get my trilogy started for Venom. It's like, wow. But yeah, that's what I have to believe, is that they sabotaged the film, knew that it would basically do bad, so they can force, and then they decided to use, oh, he came back for Spider-Man 4, huh? After we made sure he got trashed for how many villains was in the movie, and yet he came back. It's like, okay, then we're going to have to pressure him really hard to make sure that Spider-Man 4 won't happen. And if Spider-Man 4 does happen, we're making sure that that's a sabotage film too, because hey, we can sacrifice more money because Spider-Man movies will sell still. So it's like, that's the idea, is that they had to either make Sam Raimi's perception of being an awesome superhero, being a superhero director, knowing what he's doing with Spider-Man, and making everyone question that, to the point of where they don't want him to do any movies anymore because look what happened to Spider-Man 3. And then they made sure that they pressured him even hard in Spider-Man 4 to get it basically taken away. Now you might ask, oh, but then they could have got a new director, and then they could have got it's like, then why don't you just reboot it? And like what Alvin Sargent said when he was doing Spider-Man 2, and it was like, after they done with Spider-Man 2, he said that those guys really want to reboot Spider-Man. They saw what Spider-Man can do, and now they can actually have full control of Spider-Man, and they're going to have their own franchise. They're going to have 100% control over it, and they can gloat as much as they can about this new franchise. Versus the idea of, oh, we recast it, but, well, we can't take full credit because, well, Sam Raimi and his brother Ivan and Alvin Sargent and a few others actually did this. The foundation was not built by us, it was built by them. So how can we actually get the praise, the props, and be able to gloat and flex our egos if we're using stuff that was already made. And that's why it had to die. So they made sure that Spider-Man 3 was messed up, sabotaged. Spider-Man 4 pressured enough for making Sam Raimi to say, okay, fine. And plus, I'm pretty sure they even made rumors about what happened with with Tobey Maguire. Because it's like, of course, they most likely made rumors about it. And then someone told me about how the script was so horrible. And it's like, yeah, and then someone else explained that they had like at least 4 to 5 writers because it wasn't good enough. Not to mention, guess who kept on diving in? The freaking producers themselves also was getting their hands in it again. For the second time again. So as you can see, they wanted a new franchise that they can control 100%. Look how they were puppeting Matt Webb. Look at how they puppeted. Look how they gave him much more time to film. Look how they actually said, oh, you got to reshoot that. You got to reshoot that. You can reshoot that. Look what happened to Amazing Spider-Man 2. The fact that they had to force lots of stuff in. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Matt Webb really was not keen on the whole everything else you put on there. It's like, I don't know what Matt Webb's real actual story was. I don't know. But I could tell you one thing is that I don't know. I have no idea what was the real original part for Spider-Man 2. All I can tell you is that for the original Amazing Spider-Man, it seemed pretty okay. I mean, yes, it's dark and grittier, but hey, it's the untold story of Spider-Man. He had a good idea to play. It wasn't going to be Lizard, it was going to be Proto-Goblin to get us into the ultimate Goblin scenario. But no, because that was something still waiting back from Sam Raimi when he was hinting at it, but he decided for his best judgment in Spider-Man 2 to cut the Lizard completely from it, which is like, but then how does it make sense in Spider-Man 3? He put 3 villains in once in a movie. Yes. Please make sure you put that together because it's sad that you don't put that together. So that's the real reason why there was no recast and they continued on with the story, because they wanted their story to be of their own accord. 100% theirs with full control so they can gloat and say, see, look what I did. Look what I did. Awesome, isn't it? Look what I did. Just like how Avi Arad right now is gloating about freaking Venom. Yep, he can't gloat about Venom Let There Be Carnage. It's like, I'm shocked that it just crashed and burned real quick. One person said that there should have been a buffer villain before it went to get to Carnage, which Jack-o'-lantern would have been a cool one to do. Instead, they're going to continue on with the symbiotes, and I think the third villain will be Toxin. Yes. So it really is messed up how this is going down. So that's your answer to your question. The reason why they didn't recast and continue on with the story is because they wanted to inflate their egos. They wanted to have their own story, and you can even see when it came to the MCU having an issue with Spider-Man, and they're like, well, now we know how to make Spider-Man movies, so peace. And it's like, you see? Now they're going to try to do it again, and since you demonstrated how to make a Spider-Man movie, they're going to try again. So they can 100% have power and control over Spider-Man and be able to inflate their egos and just take full credit that we did that. Versus, and I bet it's going to be some messed up stuff in the future. It's like, as soon as we get them actually talking, they'll admit it, that Sam Raimi did a marvelous job with Spider-Man and it had nothing to do with it. For Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. They most likely had nothing to do with it at all. The third one was when they actually did something. And you could just look for yourself. And the sad part is, like, when they were hyping up Spider-Man 3, you noticed that they were talking up the storm about what they did, what the involvement that they had in, and what they wanted to talk about. Where was it in Spider-Man? Where was it in Spider-Man 2? They didn't have any of that. They didn't have any of that. They had webisodes, but that's different. That was completely different from what they did for Spider-Man 3, which means, yeah, you can see for yourselves, they really wanted to be a part of Spider-Man 3, and they threw in some crap that actually ruined the story. But hey, Their character got in. They got love stories. They got to have Harry being the Goblin. Heck, maybe Harry becoming the Goblin was just one thing to be like, yeah, he doesn't know that he's done, but he's done. Let's just wrap up this whole Goblin story. It's like, my goodness. That's why they all deserve to just go away. At least the good news is that Avi Arad has no control whatsoever with Spider-Man. He's listed, but he's the same thing that happened with Spider-Man 1 and 2. He had no comments at all. Unlike Spider-Man 3, where he said, yeah, the original black suit looks like a GIMP suit. Yeah, you need to put the webs on it. Anyways, I'm webbing out. Hopefully I answer your question. Peace.